Realme and Vivo are undeniably among the best brands out there offering solid smartphones with great camera capabilities. While they were technically sister companies in the past, they have since grown quite distinct from each other. In today's video, we're taking our sights to their latest mid-range offerings, which are the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G and the Vivo V50 5G. Both models are priced at 27,999 pesos, but each comes with its own set of pros and cons, with one seemingly packing more value than the other. But what exactly are the differences? You're about to find out. Sup peeps, Earl here, Vigatech, and here's our comparison review of the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G versus the Vivo V50 5G. Let's dive in. Let's kick things off by talking about the design of these new phones. If you've seen last year's models, you'll mostly likely recognize that the new ones stick to a similar aesthetic. Realme kept things symmetrical with the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G, keeping the centered camera island for its triple camera setup. This time though, the lenses are arranged in a triangular layout and the fluted camera outline is gone, replaced by a polished metallic chrome-like finish in gold accenting. Despite the change, its overall design still looks and feels premium. You'll also notice a triple LED flash system, which we'll talk about later in this video. One thing that caught our eye is that the Realme's camera lenses kinda resemble to a fidget spinner if you look closely. How to unsee. Anyways, our unit is in the pearl white colorway splashed with this unique subtle ocean wave pattern. And what's even more interesting is its color changing aspect, albeit the phone needs to be in a cold environment with at least 16 degrees Celsius of temperature. If that parameter is met, you'll see the phone start to splash some blue textures throughout the panel. Meanwhile, the Vivo V50 5G offers a more subtle look. Our unit is in this mist purple colorway, sporting this iridescent effect on the matte housing. It does retain the design from last year too, keeping the oval-shaped camera bump on the upper left corner. Although there are a few changes to be seen here, gone is the flicker sensor, but it has a larger aura light in exchange. Looking up close again reveals the fluted camera ring that showcase a textured diamond pattern. In my opinion, this small detail truly added a sense of sophistication to the phone's overall look. Sure, the Vivo V50 5G doesn't have any quirky design feature like a color-changing back panel, it's still shaped up to be one of the prettiest devices we've ever seen. On the subject of build quality, I'm happy to report that both phones come with IP69 rating for dust and water resistance. That's the highest level of IP rating yet typically found on the flagships, and it's absolutely a welcome addition in mid-range devices like the Realme 14 Pro Plus and the Vivo V50. I also like the fact that both models have curved edges, making them more comfortable in the hands. Design-wise, both the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G and the Vivo V50 5G did a great job. Both offer unique aesthetics while also evoking a distinctly premium look and feel. Flip both phones over and you're greeted by a quad-curve AMOLED panels running at a smooth 120Hz refresh rate. The similarities in the display end here though. The Realme 14 Pro Plus sports a larger 6.83-inch panel with a crispier 1.5 screen resolution. On the other hand, the Vivo V50 has a tad bit smaller 6.77-inch display, but it's only a full HD Plus panel. The difference in screen resolution is not much, but apparently the Realme 14 Pro Plus has relatively thinner bezels than the Vivo V50. This is especially noticeable when you look at the corners of both panels, with the Vivo phone having a thicker chin. Despite such key differences, both were still able to deliver good visuals and decent audio output. Both support dual stereo speakers, producing sound with a nice balance to the highs and mids. The bass is there for both devices, but it wasn't as punchy as we'd hoped. For biometric security, both models utilize an under-display fingerprint sensor along with facial recognition. Unlocking them was quite fast, and their sensors can accurately read our fingers most of the time. Both phones also come with their own screen glass protection. The Realme phone gets a Gorilla Glass 7i and the Vivo phone gets what they call Shield Glass. Both should essentially offer scratch and shatter resistance for both displays. With that, I'm giving the point to the Realme 14 Pro Plus, thanks to its marginally better display and thinner bezels. Don't get me wrong, both still offer a satisfying viewing experience nonetheless. Moving on to one of the most crucial parts in this comparison, the cameras. On paper, the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G one-ups the competition again with its triple Sony cameras at the rear, a 50-megapixel main shooter with OIS, a 50-megapixel telephoto lens also with OIS, and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. Apparently, the said Sony sensors here were also used in flagship devices. Meanwhile, the Vivo V50 5G is left with a dual rear setup led by a 50-megapixel main with OIS and 50-megapixel ultra-wide. Though we mustn't forget that despite being a regular V50 variant, its cameras are co-engineered with Zeiss. From the camera specs alone, the Realme phone would easily secure the point here. Why? Because it has a complete set of cameras for flexibility, not to mention we're talking about flagship Sony sensors. Sure, the Zeiss optics was a really nice addition, but we would have preferred if the Vivo V50 made its second camera as a telephoto rather than an ultra-wide. Having a telephoto lens means you can shoot in longer zoom ranges without sacrificing much of the image quality and sharpness. Having an ultra-wide camera is okay, but I really don't find much utility for it aside from doing the 0.5 shots or 0.6 shots in the Vivo V50's case. But enough of the technicalities, let's see some of our sample shots here. We found the images taken from the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G surprisingly good for a mid-range phone. The image quality has a good color reproduction and impressive dynamic range. The Vivo V50 does achieve the same level of quality, incorporating its own style thanks to Zeiss tuning. However, as you'd expect, the Vivo V50's limitation is taking zoom shots. It is limited to 2x zoom, while the Realme 14 Pro Plus could go for longer focal length. Although it counters with its ultra-wide shots, having overall better clarity and contrast. And speaking of ultra-wide, the Vivo V50 5G features a 50-megapixel selfie shooter that covers a wide field of view, allowing for group selfies. In low-light scenarios, both devices also do just fine, and remember the triple flash system on the Realme phone that I mentioned earlier. It basically does the same thing as Vivo's Aura Light. Both features serve as fill light, which are pretty bright, and you have the liberty to adjust the flash color to a warmer or cooler tone. For videos, both phones do well, offering good contrast, sharp details, and decent dynamic range. You can expect stable shots too from both phones. In the camera department, Realme still gets the point for its more versatile camera system. Now, let's talk about performance. Both phones are equipped with Qualcomm chipsets, notably in the same series. The Realme 14 Pro Plus runs on the Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, while the Vivo V50 features the Snapdragon Gen 3 without the S. In our testing, the gap in performance wasn't too big. Both phones managed to get over 800,000 points in Antutu, but the Realme 14 Pro Plus has had relatively better results in PC Mark. It also had significantly higher stats in Antutu storage, which means that loading times when gaming should be faster on the Realme 14 Pro Plus. Interestingly, the Vivo V50 was slightly ahead in 3D Mark, and both got similar numbers in Geekbench CPU and GPU tests. In real-world use cases, you can expect both phones to be snappy and quick for your day-to-day tasks. Both phones are decent for gaming, and we must say they can handle some graphic-demanding titles. We tried playing Zenless Zone Zero on both phones, and while it was playable in high custom settings, we'd recommend toning the image quality down to medium and tweak some other settings to low to get stable frame rates. For casual and MOBA games like Honor of Kings and Mobile Legends, they ran very smoothly using both devices. The phones heated up for a bit when playing a game, but it wasn't too big of a deal. Now, what really sets the Realme 14 Pro Plus apart from the competition is the amount of storage that it comes with for the same price. You see, while both phones are priced at 27,999 pesos, the Realme phone offers a larger 512GB storage as compared to the 256GB of the Vivo handset. This made the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G secure a point this round, giving itself a 3-point lead in this comparison. Battery-wise, both phones pack the same 6,000 mAh capacity with varying charging speed. The Realme 14 Pro Plus supports 80 watts, while the Vivo V50 gets a slightly faster 90 watts of charging. Interestingly, despite having the same battery capacity, the latter delivered a significantly longer battery life. In our PC Mark test, the Vivo V50 lasted a solid 21 hours and 3 minutes. Meanwhile, the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G was only able to last 11 hours and 28 minutes. Setting aside the benchmarks, we've had prior hands-on experience with the two phones. Both do last longer than an entire day with regular use, but if you're like me who's always on their phone, doom scrolling, and playing games, then you can still expect decent battery life for at least a half a day. Using the chargers that the phones came with, charging them full takes just about an hour. Thus, both phones will get a point in the battery department. On the software side, both phones run Android 15 with the Realme phone skinned with Realme UI 6 and the Vivo with FunTouch OS 15. We must say we really like the Realme UI 6 more. It has a more updated look and its animation look like more fluid and alive than that of FunTouch OS. You can still find ads and bloatware here and there were both Android skins, which is quite a bummer for a mid-range device.
Realme promises up to 2 major OS upgrades and 3 years of security patches. Vivo, on the other hand, hasn't specified its update policy for this one. In India, however, the brand is giving the V50 up to 3 major OS upgrades and 4 years of security patches.
However, Vivo's FunTouch OS could really use some improvements, at least in terms of design and fluidity. So the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G earns another point in this round. Alright, after putting the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G and the Vivo V50 5G through their paces, here's the bottom line. Both phones offer excellent value at 27,999 pesos, but one definitely stands out. The Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G is that device that checks almost every box. Great camera versatility, a larger, more refined display, a plenty of storage for the same price, that's 512GB no less. The Vivo V50 5G, on the other hand, is also about design and refinement. In its own merit, it still has that premium sleek feel, and the Zeiss optics surely bring a certain level of quality to the table. However, it falls a little short in terms of overall versatility compared to the Realme, particularly in the camera department, where it lacks the third telephoto lens. So if you're after a well-rounded, dependable phone with great performance, camera flexibility, and storage, the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G is the way to go. The Vivo V50 5G is still a great option, especially if you want a phone that looks nice and offers a more than capable camera experience, though it doesn't quite match the Realme when it comes to versatility. At the end of the day, you're not making a wrong choice with either, but if we had to pick, the Realme 14 Pro Plus 5G gets the slight edge here. So, are you a Team Realme or Team Vivo in this comparison? What's your pick between the two and why? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you find this video informative and helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon to get notified of our future uploads. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and X, and visit yogatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Earl, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!